At 2 a.m., a hospital is a world of its own, a hushed kingdom of beeps and whispers. In this kingdom, Samuel was a ghost. His domain was the sprawling, sterile hallways, his scepter a janitor's mop, his chariot a rattling cleaning cart. By day, doctors and nurses bustled past, their minds on charts and diagnoses, their eyes passing right through him. They saw a janitor, a man pushing a broom. They didn't see the man he once was. Flashbacks would come unbidden, vivid and warm against the cold linoleum. He wasn't always a ghost. Back in Nigeria, he was a beacon. He stood before a classroom of bright-eyed children, their laughter echoing louder than any sterile silence. He was a teacher, a mentor, a man whose presence filled a room. Here, in the quiet corridors of a foreign land, he was invisible, just the night janitor, his past life a secret tucked away in the deepest corner of his heart. The contrast was a quiet ache, a constant companion on his lonely rounds. One night, the rhythmic tapping of rain against the windows was the only sound breaking the soft, steady beeping of the monitors. Then a new sound cut through the quiet, a faint, desperate cry. Samuel paused, his hand still on his cart. He followed the sound to a room where a young nurse stood frozen, her face pale with panic. On the bed, a patient was struggling, his breath coming in ragged, shallow gasps. The monitor beside him blared a frantic alarm. In that instant, the ghost became a man again. The janitor became the teacher. Without a second thought, Samuel rushed to the bedside. He moved with a practiced calm that defied his janitorial uniform, his voice steady as he spoke to the patient, his hands firm as he adjusted the pillows to ease the man's breathing. He guided the terrified nurse, his words clear and direct. "Get the oxygen mask. Page Dr. Evans now." He didn't just give orders. He taught her what to do, turning her panic into focused action. When the doctors finally burst into the room, they found a stable patient and a stunned nurse. The patient was alive. Later, the head doctor turned, his eyes scanning the room, finally landing on Samuel. "Who are you?" he asked. The young nurse, her voice trembling but clear, spoke up. He saved him. He knew exactly what to do. The next day, Samuel wasn't pushing a mop. He was sitting in the hospital administrator's office, surrounded by the same doctors who had rushed past him for months. The questions came, not with accusation, but with a dawning respect. And so Samuel told his truth. He spoke of his life in Nigeria, of his years as a teacher, of the first aid training that was mandatory for all educators in his district. He explained how he taught not just math and literature, but how to care for a community. As he spoke, he could see the perception shifting in their eyes. They no longer saw a janitor. They saw Samuel. This newfound visibility brought an unexpected opportunity. The hospital, recognizing the skills and character they had overlooked, offered him a spot in a medical training support program, a pathway to a new career. It was a chance to build a future from the foundations of his past. He rushed home to share the news with his son, Eli. As he explained the offer, tears of joy streamed down Eli's face, washing away years of quiet struggle. They held each other in a long embrace, a father and son finally seeing a new dawn on the horizon. Some people cross borders and lose everything. Others cross borders and carry everything inside them. Stories like Samuel's are not about where you come from, but about what you refuse to leave behind. Subscribe for more stories beyond borders.